I'm Dr. Saira, and I wanted to do a little bit of teaching today on the subject of passion. Now, passion is a really big topic, and people can be passionate about very different things in their lives. Some people are very passionate about their work. Some people are very passionate about their family and their home, while other people are passionate about travel, or they might be passionate about the beautiful things that they own. So for each of us, we have our different areas that we feel passionate about. Some of us haven't really found what we're passionate about. And for those of us who maybe are passionate about one area but want to bring passion into the other areas of our lives, or if you haven't yet exactly found what you're passionate about, this is a tool that will actually help bring you to a point of balance. And once you're in a point of balance, you can start looking at how to spend more or less attention in different areas of your life to bring a sense of balance into all areas rather than just one or two. The model is something developed from the Institute of Transpersonal Psychology. And in their program, they have a teaching where there are 6 pillars or 6 fundamental areas in which they require their students and their faculty to attend to pay attention to. And what they found is when students, those who are potentially going into the field as helpers, as healers, as psychologists and therapists and counselors and spiritual directors, as teachers and faculty, as people walk these 6 pillars, as they bring balance into these 6 areas, they tend to live a life that's more passion-filled. And not just passion-filled in 1 or 2 areas, but actually a full life of passion. And so let me teach you the 6 pillars. So the way I like to visualize this is a model. I love pictures. And so there's a picture here of, well, let me just draw it. So we start with a circle. And think of this circle as your life. So this is your pie. And the question is, how much of your pie, how many pieces of your pie do you dedicate to each of the different areas, each of these 6 pillars? And so an ideal balanced pie would look like this. And so they're roughly about the same in each of the areas. And the 6 areas are simply the first is emotional. So how much time, attention, care do you give to your emotional life? Do you actually take the time to feel your feelings? Or do you push that aside and say, oh, I'll just deal with that later? How much space do you give yourself to let go of the emotions that you're carrying throughout your day, from the little things that happen in your day and the bigger things? So emotional is one area that we have to kind of make time for and pay attention to in the 6 areas. Another area is our intellectual side. So this is the part of us that thinks, our mind that needs to be engaged. Are you spending enough time engaging your intellect? And there are some things that engage your intellect and others that don't, and you know for yourself what those are. For some of us, reading, researching, learning will engage our intellect. For some of us, it's the dialogue with others, like-minded others, or even debates between other people to stimulate our minds. For others of us, it's surfing the net, and for others of us, it's watching educational programs or films. So there must be time in your day, there must be space in your life for the intellectual engagement. Some of us are lucky enough to get intellectual engagement at work as well. So that's an important area. So we have emotional, we have intellectual. Of course, another key area is physical. Are you taking the time that you need to take to look after your body? Are you eating right and on time and in right proportion for what you need? Are you moving? Are you finding a way to move? Are you finding a way to build the physical care into your everyday life? So just as you bathe or take a shower, are you also moving your body? On the inside, are you eating right? Are you moving? Are you being physical? Are you perhaps doing little things like parking a little further in the parking lot so that you have a bit of a walk? Or taking the stairs instead of the elevator? Little things, little tricks you can do to balance in the physical arena. And some of us actually are overbalanced in the physical, where we spend a lot of time nurturing and caring for our physical health, and at the expense perhaps of some of the other areas. So this model again is about bringing balance. So we have emotional, intellectual, physical. Another area of importance is community. Are you taking the time that you need to take to cultivate relationships? Whether that means relationships with your significant other, relationships in your family, in your work environment, relationships with your larger community, maybe your spiritual community, your intellectual community. Are you taking the time that's required to nurture, to really nurture your community and the relationships that come along with your community? This is often overlooked in our Western societies, as we are very independent cultures. People tend to do things on their own. And the funniest thing that I've found in the West is our HOV lane, high occupancy vehicle, meaning, if you have 2 or more people in your car, you're able to use this lane, and it's encouraging people to drive together to help the environment. But it's sad for me to see how few vehicles actually use that lane. And we've become such a culture where everybody's kind of has their own car and is doing their own thing. And in the meantime, we may be missing out on actually cultivating the community that we require. We're social creatures, and we need that community. So we have emotional, intellectual, physical, and community. Another area that's very key and vital for us, for our health and well-being, is spiritual. And so this is the non-tangible part of who we are. Things that lift our spirit, things that make us just feel connected to the divine that is. And so for some of us that may look like prayer or meditation. For others it may be belonging to a particular community. But do you do something every day and every week that builds that sense of the spiritual into your life? It could be lighting a candle, it could be taking a walk in nature, but something that reminds you and links you back to the divine. Very important. Some people, again, may spend a lot of time in the development of their spiritual at the expense of some of the other areas. So the key in this model to bring more passion into your life is to have a balance in all the 6 areas. And so we have community, spiritual, physical, intellectual, and emotional. And the last area is the creative. The creative. Do you take some time to be creative? And that can look like many things. It can be being creative with the meals that you prepare, creative with the way that you show up in the world, the way that you present yourself. It could be creative in the way that you arrange your space. It could be creative in the beautiful pictures that you have on your wall in your office. There's so many ways to build creativity into your life. But it's important that you do build that in. I was participating in a workshop in the States, and we talked about beauty and the need for beauty, what the need is for beauty. And the participants came back with a simple answer that since the beginning of human history that's recorded, we found that human beings want to make their spaces and their objects that they use beautiful. And so there's this creative impulse that's in all of us, and even if we're not necessarily an artist or a singer or have some sort of talent that way, there is a creative impulse, that impulse to create something. And so are you taking the time to build that creativity into your life? So these 6 areas are very intimately linked with passion. One, you might already know about, from observing the 6, the area that you're the most passionate about in your life. And perhaps the area that you spend more attention and focus on in your life. And the opportunity to bring more passion into your life is to actually just simply increase the time and attention that you spend on the areas that are lesser in your life. And so if you'd like, you can do a little activity with me now. This is an activity that we will be doing at the workshop as well, which is take a piece of paper and draw your circle, draw your pie. And completely honest with yourself, see if you can do the 6 areas and how much attention and time it is that you spend on those particular areas. Just kind of test that out for yourself. And once you see in front of your own eyes what your pie looks like, you have the opportunity to increase the areas that are less paid attention to, and then you can start getting creative about how to make the changes that are required to bring more balance into your life and therefore more passion. And so I really hope you can join us on October 1st if you're in the Vancouver area for our workshop on passion. And if you can't join us, we'd love to hear from you, and please do stay in touch. Have a great day.